Hello. So today I am going to teach you an amazing stress release, stress eliminator technique that I've developed. And I take a very holistic approach to everything that I design and everything that I create. So I'm not afraid to think outside of the box and to get creative and really use all of the resources that we have available to us in order to get the results to help us. So there are three different levels that you can take this technique to. So if you want the biggest results and the biggest shift, I would suggest that you do number 3. But we're going to start with number 1, move to number 2, and then I'll explain number 3. And just the results that I've had are amazing. So with step 1, here's the premise for it. So we create stress based on how we perceive the world around us, how we perceive what's going on around us, and the meaning that we give the world around us and what's going on around us. So we actually create stress. The other piece that I'll go a little further with is, let's say this pen represents something that is really stressing you out. The pen itself is completely neutral. The pen is the pen. The pen is going to go about the pen's day, do what the pen does, and nothing can change the pen or the pen's personality or how the pen does things unless the pen decides to do that, unless the pen makes the choice to change something. But how everything and everyone around the pen reacts to the pen can completely change depending on how we choose to react to the pen. So that is not what this technique is about, but I just wanted to give you those insights that the goal for me is to teach people how to stop reacting to the pen in the first place. But until then, and even for me in my life, like there are so many pens that I don't even react to anymore. I'm completely neutral. They don't bother me. They don't stress me. But every now and then I have a new pen come into my world and come into my life that is still charged, that still stresses me out, and that I haven't balanced and neutralized yet. So that is what we're talking about today. I'm going to teach you a technique that, yes, you may still be charged about the pen, but until you're able to neutralize and balance that charge and the meaning and the perceptions and the effects that the pen has on you, this is a fantastic technique to release and eliminate the stress that you are accumulating because of the world around you and what's going on. So the other piece that I also want to bring into your awareness is that stress gives off an energy. It gives off a vibe. And especially if you have pets or children, if you're stressed, they feel it, they suck it up, they start to behave in ways that reflects the stress that you're feeling. But interestingly enough, kids and pets don't often act stressed, but they'll act out. They'll be sad. They'll be, they'll misbehave. They'll get lippy. With pets, the pet could be off. The pet, could just be not its usual self. So there are always signs of how our stress is affecting other people. And that's the vibes and the energy that our stress that we're holding is giving off to other people. But you may be absorbing and attracting other people's stress to you. So this technique is also going to help you release the stress from other people, from other situations that you're holding, that you've just picked up because of who you're around, what's going on in their life, maybe who you're, emotionally or in a relationship connected to, or who you care about, who's going through a tough time or who is stressed in their own life. So you could be also holding the energy and the vibes and the effects of another person's stress. So for the purpose of this technique, we are just going to be aware that it could be your stress, could be someone else's stress, but basically it's the effects of being stressed that I'm going to help you work through today. Okay. So we're going to call it level 1, level 2, level 3. Okay. So level 1 is going to include you doing a life hacking meditation where you are going to imagine that your feet, or imagine that you are laying on the ground. So I'm not talking the floor, I'm not talking a cement pad, I'm talking like Mother Earth, dirt, grass, like natural ground. What I've realized and what I've learned and what I've, clued into is that the universe has a purpose, and we have a purpose, and there's energy flowing all around us, and there's different purposes to what the different aspects of nature and of the universe can provide us. So one thing that I've learned about the earth is that, okay, for example, what the earth can do with decomposing and filtering and cleaning and cleansing, itself, right? Like in a forest or in nature, the natural cycle is always decomposing, absorbing, and cleansing in that natural cycle of nature. So we're a part of that. We just think we're different because we're humans, but really, we're a part of that. And so what I've realized is that the earth is very willing to receive and absorb and dissolve and disintegrate and decompose the energy or the vibes that we have to give it, and help in a way that can help us clean and cleanse, and it cleans that energy. It no longer holds that stress, but it helps us remove our stress so that we're not like giving it off to everybody else around us, because really all that does, it's like garbage and litter that's left laying around. Sooner or later, it's somebody else's garbage. Okay. But the earth is able to absorb and dissolve and, like I say, decompose what it's given, as long as it's not plastic, as long as it's a natural substance or a natural energy. So level 1 is going to be the meditation, the life hacking meditation, where you are imagining that your feet are on the ground, or you're imagining that you're laying on the ground. Level 2 is where you actually are going to do this meditation with your feet on the earth, or your feet, or you're sitting, you're not in a chair. Even better, you have your shoes off, your socks off. Maybe you can't be naked outside, but you get my point. Like physical contact with the earth, but not through a chair, not through on your deck. Like, get your feet on the ground. And that's going to be level 2, where you're actually standing or sitting on the ground as you're going through this life hacking meditation. Level 3 is going to be physically laying on the ground, like in a starfish pose or a T, where your physical body is in contact with the ground in as many places as possible, and you just want as much contact with the ground as you can. Level 3 is going to be able to give you the most benefit. You're going to be able to release the most in the shortest amount of time, just because of there's like a physics term, but like how much physical body is in contact with the physical ground, okay? So you choose whatever you're comfortable with, and maybe you'll start out at level 1, but then you'll move to level 2, you'll move to level 3, or maybe you'll just say, heck, you know what? I'm just going to start with level 3 because I am ready to release and let go of this stress, okay? Sometimes though, maybe you're at work, maybe you're busy and you're not able to physically get outside to do this, or maybe it's like 40 below and you just cannot imagine laying outside in those conditions. That's okay. That's why I'm giving you different options. But I can honestly say the best results are going to be you laying on the ground. All right. So what I'd like to do now is actually guide you through this meditation. So for the first time that you're listening to this, if you just want to listen to it first, that's totally fine. I'm going to leave the video on so that it can be like a more interactive, but moving forward, I would like you to just have this playing, audio and not be worried about the visual, and just let me guide you through this meditation as your eyes are closed and you're tuned in, which is why I sent you the bonus ahead of time, to help you get a sense of the space that I work with people in, and go through only listening when you're actually doing this meditation, okay? But for this purpose, I'll leave the video on and help you get a sense of it. And when you go ahead and use this meditation as often as you want, just have it in your earbuds. And until you get the process memorized or you feel comfortable just doing it on your own, use this meditation to just guide you and help you along as you're doing this technique. Okay? So I'm just going to actually pause for a couple seconds so that there's a slice here for you to know that at 13 minutes, that is when the meditation begins. So 13 minutes into this recording, that is when the meditation process begins. Just if you have a little tracker on your device that you're using to have this listening to it. Okay. All right. So I would like you to go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. So I'm beginning this as though you are imagining that you're touching the ground, or that you actually already are physically in contact with the ground, okay? So go ahead and have those eyes closed. Take a couple deep breaths. Now, with these life hacking meditations, there is no right, no wrong, no good, no bad, no black, no white. There's no nothing. There's no expectations. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. All there is what you're willing to receive and what you're willing to allow yourself to imagine, because that is how our inner world works. So as you're taking these deep breaths, feel free to pause this recording at any time to take yourself deeper and take yourself further. But I'm not going to allow for that time, the pause time in this recording, because it's so easy for you guys just to push pause at any time and then come back once, that section for you has opened up or you're ready to move on. Okay. All right. So a couple more deep breaths. And I would like you to imagine that you are turning on a switch to your inner senses. So your inner sense of sight, smell, taste, touch, and hearing. And if it seems a little bit dark, go ahead and imagine yourself turning on a light so that you can see. Now, the more imagination and the more creative you allow yourself to get, and the more open you are to seeing whatever is there and whatever is coming to you, the better results you will have. Okay? So don't put yourself in a box. Don't put any rules attached to this. Just let's be open and go with the flow. In order to get a different result than what we've always got, we need to start thinking and doing differently than what we've always thought and what we've always done. And this is exactly the epitome of that. Okay? So, as now your inner senses have been switched on and your inner light has been switched on, I'm going to ask a couple questions. And I'm going to speak on your behalf as though you are asking the questions, but I will ask the questions for you, and you're the observer and the listener. Okay, so mind, please, so imagine your mind. Please show me all of the areas within my mind that I am holding stress. Maybe it lights up, maybe it collects it, maybe it shows you. Just go with the flow. Use your imagination, be creative. Okay. Body. Please show me all of the areas within my body that I am holding stress. Heart. Please show me all the areas in my body where I am holding stress. And soul, or the concept of this eternal energy, or, you know, the greater, the greater connection that we have that is, connected to a greater source than, what our physical bodies come from. So soul, spirit, whichever. I just refer to it as the spark that keeps us going and keeps us animated while we're alive on this planet. Soul, please show me all the areas that I am holding stress. Past, so you of the past. Could be any representation of the past. Please show me all of the areas where I am holding stress from my past or within my past. Mind, body, heart, soul, past. Please gather and collect all of the stress that I am holding in any aspect, any area of these pieces of me. Please gather and collect all the stress that is ready and willing to be released today. I like to refer to the mind, body, heart, soul, and past as the panel. So when I say panel, I'm referring to all 5 of those pieces. Panel, please give me a representation of all of this stress that is ready and willing to be released, that has now been collected. Please give me an image or a symbol that represents all of the stress that is ready and willing to be released today. Okay, could be anything. There's no specific thing or image that it has to be. Just go with the flow. Be creative. Use your imagination. Go with the first thing that comes as you're going through this process. Okay. Earth, please help me by receiving all of this stress that I've been holding from my mind, my body, my heart, my soul, my past. Please help me by receiving and absorbing, dissolving, disintegrating all of the stress that I am ready and willing to release and eliminate from within me today. Okay, now imagine that the earth is saying whatever it says, but imagine that it is very happy to help you out. The earth is a living, breathing organism, and it is very willing to help us. Okay, so now imagine that the earth is willing to receive and absorb and dissolve and disintegrate all of the stress that you've been holding. And imagine that whatever point of contact that you are in contact with the earth, that is where this image and this symbol and all of the stress is flowing through and flowing through you, through your point of contact with the earth, and you're releasing it, releasing, 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 releasing. Now you may feel some tingling, you may feel some sensations. Don't block them. Don't turn the tap down. Open up the tap and say, oh, yes. Let's flush all of this out, and let's, clean and clear as much of this out as is willing to go. Okay, so take as much time as you want. Your mind might drift. Your mind might, you might almost fall asleep a little bit, but you're setting the intention, you're opening the door, and you're giving permission for that stress and that energy to flow through you, flow down into the earth, and the earth knows exactly what to do to help you out. And that stress will no longer exist after the earth receives it and absorbs it. Take some nice deep breaths as you're going through this. Now again, you might be choosing the level 1 where you're imagining you're connected to the earth. You might choose level 2 where a part of you is touching the ground. You might choose level 3 where you're holding, or you're literally laying on the ground. It's up to you. Okay, take some nice deep breaths. Now, feel free to ask yourself questions while you are cleansing and eliminating this stress, like, why do I keep getting stressed? What is actually stressing me out? Who is stressing me out? What am I not paying attention to? Why am I being triggered by this? What meaning am I giving this, which is making me feel stressed? You can learn so much about, what's causing the stress, so that, there's so many methods and techniques that are available that could take you further with this to actually eliminate the causes of the stress itself. Okay, that would be, going further and taking yourself further with the life hacking meditations. All right, so I'm going to move to the next step here, but please know that you are welcome to stay in this space of you connected to the earth. The earth is receiving your stress, you're cleansing it, you're eliminating it, you're releasing it. Stay in that space as long as you want, as long as you need to, until you get a sense that, like, okay, it feels like the tap, there's nothing else coming out of it, there's nothing else flowing out, I'm ready to leave this space and move on to the next step. Okay. So the next step is just to lie or sit or stand with the knowledge that you are connected to not only the earth, but everything else and everyone else. And to thank yourself and thank the earth for helping you. Thank yourself for helping yourself. And, ask the earth a question. Ask anything. You might not get an answer, but there's something very beneficial to just learning how to ask questions without needing an answer. But sometimes you'll receive an insight that you would not have thought of on your own had you not been connected in this moment, in this space, and asking the question that you're asking. Okay? So again, couple deep breaths. Thank yourself. Thank the earth. Thank your stress for leaving. Thank your inner senses for helping you locate it and release it. And just know that until you balance and neutralize the charge, the trigger, the perception, the meaning that is creating the stress, this technique is going to be highly, highly beneficial for you to at least resolve and release what you are accumulating from your life at this moment, right? So those of you that know me, you know that I'm not about teaching coping mechanisms or band-aids. I'm about fully resolving, fully balancing, fully. But we're not always at that juncture. Sometimes we just need a little something to help us in the moment. But again, even this technique is fully eliminating, fully releasing. It's not coping and band-aids. So this technique is very beneficial when we're still experiencing stress. But my ultimate goal is to help you eliminate the stress in the first place. But this is where I am very happy to offer this for you because of what your need is in this moment to get yourself beyond where you're at and what you're feeling and the effects of the stress that you're feeling in your head and in your body and in your heart. And that's what the purpose of this is for you today. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a most excellent day. And for more information on other products and services and techniques that I have, different topics, feel free to visit lifehackingevolution.com, all one word, LifeHackingEvolution. OLUTION.com. We'll connect with you again soon.